succession, and he says that another 150 basis points is going to come in, and by Christmas time, 4 or 5 months out, everything is going to be bliss. On the flip side, Gordon Chang, author of The Coming Collapse of China, joins us live from Washington, D.C., and he postulates that real growth in China is not anything near 7.6%, which is the median we're looking for, but zero. Gordon, what have you been smoking? God, I can't even get it out.
Well, Bernie, you look at the electricity production numbers, the surveys of the manufacturing sector, the price indices, and they say contraction. But you don't have to take it from me. All you do is you look at the iron ores piling up in the parking lots, you've got the copper in the granary, and that says a flatlining economy.
Wow. What do you think of that, Aaron? Gordon, is that a polar opposite of your species here?
I think Gordon's sitting in Washington, D.C. I don't think he's looking at the parking lot of the piling up coal in China. Secondly, Gordon, you were on an interview earlier this week, and you called the premier of China, Wen Jiabao, incompetent. I take issue with that. Wen Jiabao has brought 200 million people out of poverty in the last 10 years and seen the rise of the greatest economy in the world today, except America. How is it that you think that this guy's incompetent, and how is it that you claim to be watching piles of iron ore while you're sitting in Washington, D.C.?
Ooh, getting kind of personal here, Gordon, but you can take it.
Yeah, I can take it. I think what you did when you looked at 2008, 2009, he overstimulated the economy. And yes, he created growth, but he also created the property bubble and too much debt. China's debt to GDP ratio is somewhere between 89 to 200%. And now you have the downsides of the sugar high. So you have a flatlining economy. And that's why I think that it was really the wrong moves. And that's why also I think that you're going to see less in the way of stimulus, because they know that the Chinese economy can't stand another round of investment. I know Premier Wen Jiabao 24 hours ago said he was going to do that, but that's a sign of desperation.
Mm-hmm. Gordon's standing his ground here.
Wen Jiabao promised the Chinese people last year, when inflation was nearing 7%, that he would tackle inflation. He hiked rates 5 times. Inflation has been tackled. Inflation's gone from 7 to just about 2%. He's achieved his goals there. Now he's saying that he wants to turn the economy around towards growth. He's led 2 rate cuts in the past month. His track record has been phenomenal in terms of his ability to achieve the goals that he's set out. He's had 0 strikes on his track record. I suspect that he will again achieve his goals in stimulating the economy. And China has ample amount of room to stimulate the economy. We're not down from a sugar high, Gordon. We are now at 6% benchmark interest rate.
Oh, come on. He doesn't have the room to do it. First of all, there's too much debt. Also, you look at the deposits. In April, $101 billion of household deposits fled the banking system, and that was before the interest rate cuts. You're now getting to the point where deposit rates are so low that they don't have the ability to drop rates, and that's their problem. They don't have the flexibility that they had in 2008, 2009, because Premier Wen Jiabao overdid it then.
Isn't there, Aaron, isn't there one a facet that we haven't maybe talked about here? The lending boom that occurred in years past, the bill hasn't entirely come due in terms of NPLs. I mean, that's still an open question on how many of those are going to be, basically put in the no payback column.
2 things. First of all, on the NPLs, people said that by this time this year, NPLs would spike. That hasn't happened. NPLs still sit at near record lows. So as far as we're talking right now, NPLs are a non-issue. But I would say this. Gordon, you said that there is no room to drop rates. China's benchmark interest rate is at 6%. Japan's at 0. The U.S. is at 0.25. Where are you coming up with the idea that China has no room? China's the only central bank in the world that does have ammunition to fire right now.
Well, you're talking the benchmark lending rate. I'm talking about deposit rates. And, you've seen these massive withdrawals out of the banking system, and I don't think that they have the ability to drop deposit rates that much further. I mean, we'll see if they can do it. And, with regard to NPLs, where are you getting your figures? You're getting them from the PBOC, or the China Banking Regulatory Commission, which has been fibbing for about a decade or more about the NPLs. They haven't owned up to them. They're sitting on the balance sheet of the Ministry of Finance and elsewhere.
All right, one point in support of Gordon there. Money has been flowing out of China. There's been a net outflow of capital. People are starting to park outside China because of internal doubts about, the sanctity of the economy. That's a given, no?
It's a very small number, and that's already been slowing and reversing. I don't think that capital flight's an issue at all right now in China. But the benchmark mortgage rates right now, for example, Gordon, are still at about 7.5%, 8%. I don't know what they're paying for mortgages over there in the United States, but there's a lot of room for China to loosen this economy. This is one of the tightestly wound interest rate regimes in the world right now.
Okay, Gordon, one more go here. You guys are both sticking to your guns. Aaron's saying that they have the ability. You're saying that they don't, and they're frozen up.
Yeah, they may be able to do one more round of stimulus, but it's like the last round, and they're not going to be able to avoid problems. They're merely postponing them, and they postpone them one more time, and I think that it's finished. They're just basically overdid it.
Gordon, listen, we appreciate it. It's always great to have a healthy debate. We can agree to disagree. And for the record, Gordon and Aaron are actually very, very good friends, okay? But it's always nice to talk things through end to end. And Gordon, especially you, thanks for staying so late over there in D.C.